when you look at during your work experiences until now, what would you think that the decision makers have to consider in order to boost the community creativity, all in all, be it in the creative thinking, be it in the architectural world or urban development? If you can have a line, each one of you, based on your personal experiences, what type of things do they have to think about before they can, let's say, approve for a creative community, or then if they want to boost their country or society to be more creative, what are the things?
But I would say like they should probably they already do it. Some of them at least.
Mm-hmm.
Is they should develop policies to offer education, to offer culture, to I mean to promote, for example, artistic activities, and so the, everyone should be everyone should have access, for example, to culture.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's I mean it's just an example. This culture is an inspirational element,
That's right.
and probably if you're an engineer, yes, probably you like music. So and music inspires you, and so what I'm trying to say is that all kind of policies that offer or that contribute to have people more trained, more prepared, more happy, more it will be welcome
Mm-hmm.
always. And that's I mean you made me think about this indicator of the happiness index. I don't want to go deep, but sometimes it's like it's not. I think it's not really objective sometimes because if someone knows only one reality, and for example, and they have never lived the place where they live, probably they think they are happy. But when you are being, for example, abroad or you study different realities, you can say, okay, probably they have a they don't have the best understanding of what happiness means. How do you measure happiness, for example? Uh, do you measure happiness by saying, okay, everything is about 15 minutes from my place, and then I don't waste 1 hour of my time driving to go to work?
Mm.
Yeah, if happiness says that, then yes, you have a very good urban planning. So citizens they don't waste too much time to enjoy a park, to go in for an spectacle, to to do a sport because everything is very close. But probably someone that has to drive an hour, 45 minutes, they can say, okay, I'm happy. I don't know. It's like, well, I know it's really, it's subject to discussion, the connection between happiness and probably and creativity. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my answer to your question, what policymakers can do is like I said, foster creativity through different kind of actions.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I say.
That's right. Dr. Sergio, you have your hands.
Thank you. Well, I agree with that. And I would also add to increase participation, radical participation within the communities. Sometimes we are very hierarchical, and we think that the leaders should be the ones who are creative. But I think it's a skill that should be horizontal and should be transversal throughout all the organizations.
Mm.
So everybody is creative. We just need to exercise the creative muscle a little bit more. And creativity is surprising sometimes when it comes from the grassroots, from
Mm-hmm.
that grassroots innovation.
Yeah.
So if I were to increase the creativity index of my community, I would enable more tools for radical collaboration and the participation of everybody within that organization.
Thanks a lot, Dr. Christoph.
I would like to add, Sergio was thinking about participation, but we need also spaces for this kind of public participation. We need spaces for develop ourselves. We need spaces for any kind of action. And these spaces can be physical, but it could be also some kind of intangible spaces as well. Where we organize ourselves, where we can participate in the society, where we can participate in the decision making and so on. I think this is really important to give people spaces to develop themselves, and this maybe was one kind of issues of my presentation, where the cities try to give spaces to develop creativities in a very special manner. And but I'm very sure that spaces can have different kind of characters, but we all need spaces where we can develop ourselves, and spaces which are not too predetermined. So I was talking about open spaces, spaces where you can act freely, mainly freely, where you can really develop your creativity. This, I think, is really, really important in a way how to foster creativity. The other point was Marco said is a point, is an aspect what I really a little bit doubt about the happiness, because we very often in urbanistic seminars and events, they talk about, oh, we have to make happy cities. And I think we architects and urbanists, we can't really make happy inhabitants. This is, for me, this is too much. We can maybe create, help to create certain circumstances where people can develop themselves in the most free possible way, maybe. But if they're happy or not, it has to do with maybe with their personal relations, with maybe some tragic events which happened recently, and so many other things which we can't really change, or where we can't which we can't manipulate somehow. Even the weather maybe has an aspect of, or an impact of our happiness. If it's raining 5 days in a row, maybe it really makes you a little bit more depressive than in other places. So happiness is a difficult aspect for me to discuss in these circumstances. But anyway, it's also interesting to discuss. It's also interesting to think about it. If it's really something that we can somehow stimulate. How? I don't want to include it. I think it's, for me, it's difficult to think.
Yes, the topics are so many, and the question of happiness is also in my discussion list. All of the people I have spoken with, being an entrepreneur or innovator of some product, this question came in, that you have to be happy. But then what is happiness? So this definition,
that would be for the next episode of the next topic.
It's difficult, definitely, and also maybe I could put in also some of the older people into this discussion, the ones who have been here, and they can share. As I can see, our time is rushing to the promised end. I must thank all of you for being here, Dr. Sergio, for participating as well. Your ideas are really appreciated here. And I hope we can have a chat also in the future, because this is the first time I have the university people together. And I'm now wondering, I've been wondering here with all the notes I'm taking, like, how can I get this material to the universities? I think it was a very eye-opening episode altogether. It's, as I say to everybody, these are things that we know. but when you are told, you really grasp them even more into the sense. And for that reason, I had to select this Everybody is Creative for the World Creativity episode, just that we can have the academia point of view as well. And I hope that in the future there can be more of these discussions. But I must thank you really, really very much for this one.
I would
Thank
like to
you,
thank you
Professor.
as well. It was really a pleasure to participate. The discussion really was kind of emotional also for me because there are some subjects we could really go on discussing. I really think this is really nice for me to be some kind of stimulated to go on discussing, but also to go on studying.
You have the daytime there.
Thank you very much for the invitation, Conrad. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
It was a pleasure.
Yes, and I wish you a very good rest of the day.